CFM Radio. We are live.
We are back once again for CFM Radio, video game, music, and news. Live with you because it's Wednesday, my dudes.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. And Drix, I gotta say, how are you this week?
I am doing pretty good. Had a lovely Easter weekend through a DIY pinball tournament with about 7 other friends on Easter Sunday.
Oh.
And played a pretty sweet show out in Murrieta, California, near Temecula, with my band Casuist. Yeah, on the way.
Yeah, on the way. But that's badass. I also had a relatively, I had a kind of a busy Easter weekend, but it was just going from place to place and pretty much relaxing. So, you know, we did the family tour and relaxed a little bit. It was pretty fun, you know, ate a lot of candy, as you do.
Yep, chocolate bunnies, colored eggs.
Delicious.
Haha.
And you know what else is delicious? We're not even going to mess around at this point. We are just going to jump right into the show because we know it's what you've all been waiting for. And because we've got a lot to get through. We have 2 game reviews. We've got Emerzone, an Explorer's Legacy, a remake of a cult classic, point and click RPG. And then later on in the show, we've got a new and, I don't know, let's call it different, right? Would that how sound good to you, Colin?
Yeah. It's another charming indie title, and we're probably going to butcher the name a bit, but I'm just going to call it Maliki. Poison of the Past. Sweet little girl-fronted turn-based RPG that I've been diving into a lot the last couple weeks. We did a preview, little impressions segment of the demo that I tasted and rather enjoyed, so we dove in this week for the full review and got to experience a lot of the game, and we'll be telling you all about it in our review later.
That's going to be a little bit later on in the show. Right now, you're seeing our preview from the Wildgate community beta. Totally miss it every day of my life.
Yeah, every day since. We mostly just wish we could be playing Wildgate.
Yeah.
Having ship battles in space.
Yeah.
Probing where no man has probed before.
Space. I miss shooting these guys down. It was so fun. But you know what else was fun, Drix? And like I said, we're not going to dance around the show any for too long today. It was another beautiful game. Was the game that I played this week? Well, I've actually been playing it for the month because it's a very pretty puzzle box. I'll say it like that.
Oh, it's quite the Rubik's Cube, huh?
Indeed, and it is going up on the screen right now. It is Emerzone, an Explorer's Legacy.
Okay, so this is like a remaster. This came once before, right?
Yes, actually, so I played it on the PS5. This is the PS5 release of the game. Originally, it was a PC and PS1 game. Point-and-click adventure.
Yeah, like Myst or Raven or something.
Yes. Funny, if you didn't know, PS1, home to a lot of point-and-click adventures.
Yeah, Discworld is the one classic that comes to mind.
Yeah, Heart of Darkness, right?
Oh, yeah. That had a very fine orchestral score.
Absolutely. You've also got, there was also quite a few other ones. I always forget. It's like Brain Dead 32.
Ooh.
It's the Don Bluth Mad Scientist one.
Yeah, kind of a deep cut.
Yeah, but this is Emerzone, an Explorer's Legacy remastered. Again, playing it on the PS5. A point-and-click adventure game, and right off the bat, I've got to kind of preface the review with the genre. Because even though you're seeing it right here, the game is beautiful. The remastering is fantastic. The visuals It is a feast for the eyes, and the sound is also amazing. You're going to see it right here if you're looking at the B-roll. You could call a point-and-click game just one big cutscene or a walking simulator, but the cutscenes in this are beautiful.
They really gave it quite the update.
Yeah, and again, you're seeing the cutscene right now. It is a beautiful blend of illustration mixed with live action, mixed with the in-game rendering. It is the presentation for Amazon and Explorer's Legacy is fantastic. But again, gotta preface it, it's a point-and-click RPG. It is an old-school point-and-click RPG, meaning that it is focused on the puzzle-solving aspect of the game.
Yes.
You're going to be wanting to, using your cursor, looking at every nook and cranny, right?
Yeah. Really get your thinking caps on and your investigative sleuthing abilities.
Picking up all the junk, all the stuff that you possibly can. Reading everything. Reading. And Drix, got to tell you, there's a lot of reading in this game.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah, there's a lot of reading in this game. But and so your mileage may vary when it comes to gameplay because there is no combat. There are no enemies. There's just a lot of, admittedly, and I'll put an asterisk next to what I'm going to say because when you take it at face value, great puzzles, well-designed puzzles that even if you played the original, and I'm gonna say it, I downloaded the original and I booted it up just to go through it a little bit. Man, those old school graphics, oh my god, it's like a horror game, but it's not a horror
on accident.
game. Yeah, on accident. Yeah, again, beautiful. Everything in this modern remaster makes the entire game beautiful, just as beautiful as the story, because the story is also incredible. But again, there isn't any stats, no role playing. There isn't any the progression is levels. You're moving from chapter to chapter, from level to level, and moving from locale to locale. Let's say it like that. So your progression is very old school, true to the point and click adventure game a genre, where the reward is when you finish the puzzle, you move to the next level.
Huh. Okay. Cool. So it's the most cinematic book you've ever read, kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's one of those things, we call them walking simulators these days. There's not even a lot of that. There isn't a lot of even free roam 3D. It is on rails. You're moving from area to area to area. But again, you're seeing the locales. You're seeing all of these things on the screen. It is a beautiful game, Drix. And again, the narrative as well. Beautiful. Not going to get into anything because any spoilers or anything like that, because the narrative is the game when it comes to this. But the story that this game tells is of an old French man's expedition to the Amazon. And when it's funny, you might think the title is a bit funny, but when you immerse yourself into the world of this point and click RPG, you'll realize that Alexandre Valenbois is a Frenchman. And when you go to the Amazon, you're going into South Africa, into the Amazon. So, or South America into the Amazon, and you're, it's weaved and revealed to you in a way that really, if you don't put together the pieces, you take it all at face value, you don't put together all the pieces, it feels very mysterious, feels very mystical, because the story itself centers around Valenbois' discovery of the egg of the white bird. And I'll leave it at that, because the mystery of the white bird and how it affected his life and the people that went with him on this journey in his youth is beautiful. And by the end of it, it does feel emotional. So it is rewarding to get through everything. And again, here's where that asterisk is gonna come in, Drix.
Huh. Okie dokie.
Because when you want to get through it, the game is not going to stop you. They've taken every puzzle, and if you go long enough without solving it, the game unlocks hints to the point where, and I tested it, to the point where it will outright give you the answer.
Huh. Oh boy. Yeah, your character kind of has his own intelligence almost, huh?
Yeah, you'll sit there. Granted, okay, I'm not gonna knock it like a lot of people. It's not as egregious as like yellow paint, right? Where it's like, oh, I clearly can climb up these walls. You know, it's not
Pee-pee
like
stain wall.
Yeah, it's not like that. It's you do kind of it. You're kind of waiting a while if you want the game to tell you what to do. You know, so you, to its credit, you do have to take the puzzles and solve them if you want to get through yourself. Solve them yourself, I should say. If you want to get through the game in a reasonable amount of time, you know, in an amount of time that isn't gonna make it feel like a slog, right?
Yeah. You know, not so tedious, please.
Yeah. So it has that going for it, so it doesn't completely undermine the puzzle solving. But Drix, if you're watching the B-roll right now, you'll see the main gripe that I have with this game. And it's not that it's the point-and-click genre. It's not that there is no combat. It's not that there is a lack of action, because there is a surprising amount of action when the quest starts rolling. You realize that your humble journalist background, your player character, when he follows Valenbois' footsteps into the Emmer Zone, it does kind of get pretty tense at moments. But
yeah, no, the drama's there.
Oh, absolutely. And the people that you meet, you know, the people that he touched during his journey, you know what I mean? It all becomes very palpable. But again, the thing that I didn't like was, if you're watching the B-roll, you saw it. Drix, I'm playing this on the PS5. When my character's walking around a locale, why is it choppy?
Ooh, maybe they went a little too crazy on that new paint job, huh?
Maybe. And you know, it's one of those things where you don't really. It's not constant. It's not every single time you're seeing me move through this like mission, you know, and it's pretty smooth, and I'm looking at all the entire locale. The panning is okay. That's as fast as the cursor's gonna go, by the way. There is no faster cursor speed, so your mileage may vary on that. There is a significant lack of options. You probably have a better spread on the PC, but if you're playing it on the PS5, just be aware that your options are very, very limited.
Yeah, there's not, like, you know, are you able to switch it between performance and fidelity modes?
You actually
does
can.
that do a whole lot?
You actually can, but it doesn't really do anything. I didn't notice it anyway. If there is a big jump in FPS, again, it was lost on me. But no, there's choppiness. There's a lack of options, so the game can be a bit sluggish. And I can't knock the game for its puzzles and its puzzle design, because it is good. And again, I have to reiterate, if you've played the original, there is still a reason to go back and play this, because some of the puzzles have been revamped.
Ooh, okay.
So it is pretty fun, and it is worth it to see all of the cutscenes redone. But I have to admit, the point and click genre when you can figure out the puzzles in a timely fashion, let's say, or it's not unintuitive to you, let's say, you'll get through it rather quickly. It's about 6 hours, 7 hours.
Huh. Okay.
And with that being said, there isn't a ton of replayability. There are different difficulties, but it mostly just amounts to whether or not things in the overworld or on the overworld map become highlighted, or how fast the puzzles solve themselves, essentially. So it's not anything that is truly game altering. There is not a free roam option. You are on rails the whole time. And even though the game has an amazing presentation and the graphics are incredible and the audio is awesome, man, the performance, the fact that the performance on the PS5 is lackluster and chugs
comes as kind of a surprise, right?
I would say so. Like it's a bit of a jarring experience. The fact that it's not consistently doing it as well when it happens and it's bad, it really pulls you out of the experience, and it undermines the otherwise incredible experience that it has on offer. There are some truly breathtaking moments in Amazon and Explorer's Legacy that really make the gravitas of the original story really stand out and really make you feel like you went on this journey, on this meaningful journey, and fulfilled the wishes of a dying old man. So that really does hit you, but it really sucks when like you turn around and then you're trying to go back to your aircraft, and then like it like chugs all the way there as your character walks down on a PS5. You're like, dude, this sucks.
You go a little too crazy, too many layers of new paint there.
Probably, or something like that. Maybe it's just not optimized.
Really reaching for the stars.
Maybe it's just not optimized for the PlayStation 5. Whatever the case, that was my experience with it, and because that was my experience with Amazon and Explorer's Legacy, the best I can give this one is a 3 out of 5. Because Drix, if you can get through these jarring moments of that really just come out of nowhere, and you're down with the point and click adventure style of game, which is again very cerebral, very focused on puzzles. There is no action, no combat. You know.
Yeah. A game for real bookworms.
Yeah, you know, but the experience is good. It's very cinematic, and it delivers on that front. So I give it a solid 3 out of 5. If you liked the original, if you're down with point and click games, or if you really just want a feast for the eyes on your PS5, this game is up there with some of the best looking ones. I just got hot off the heels of Ghost of Yotei. Oh my god, Assassin's Creed Shadows. I just got hot off the heels of that, and you know, man, that game has amazing graphical fidelity too. And it's just a shame that I wish that this game had the same kind of performance as a full open world, full combat, stealth action RPG style game, even though this is only a point and click game, because the visuals are up there. The moments where it's breathtaking are truly, you sit back and you're like, wow, this game is awesome.
I need a minute to take all this in, huh?
Yeah, man. Because the game is about exploring the Amazon and getting there through like various aircraft rides, there are some moments where you sit back and I was actually genuinely surprised. I was genuinely surprised with the visual fidelity and how it combined with the haptic feedback to create an experience that truly immersed me in the world of the game. I just wish it was consistent, and I just wish that the game gave me a little bit more to chew on. Maybe actually give me a mode where the puzzles are totally revamped, because the ones that were revamped were really fun. So that's Emerzone, an Explorer's Legacy. It is a legacy worth following if you're down with this style of game, or if you want a visual feast for your PS5. A solid 3 out of 5. Drix, I think this one, this is just made for a certain audience, and the performance issues really hold it back from being great.
Yeah, that about sums it up. I mean, is it making you want to save the Amazon rainforest for the Earth Day?
Absolutely. I the white birds need to fly, Drix.
Whew. Yeah, that definitely carries some emotional weight.
Yeah, that stuff, it's got to continue. So, that's Amazon and Explorer's Legacy. It is out now for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles. You can get it. Right now, and it's funny enough, it's not on PS4, it's not on Xbox One, it's not on Nintendo Switch. So that visual fidelity, Drix, you might be onto something.
Yeah, super current gen, but I'd be curious what it plays like on PC, because maybe they just reached a little too high for the PS5 bar.
Maybe, but you know what, Drix? I think we're gonna chill out with a little bit with this this cool track you've got going on, because next we've got new releases. We've got a full show of new releases, but we're gonna go through a couple of ones that are coming out a little later in the week. This one came out yesterday.
Nice. Yeah, well, that cool track on its way out was Race Menu 2 from Gran Turismo 4. But I think I might hype it up a little bit with Moon River from Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U.
Sounds good. We'll be back. CFM Radio, we are back.
And I'd just like to remind everyone out there that jazz is wrong and a crime, especially the way that piano was just ripping that solo.
That's why Neo Junk City is on the patrol. Drix, what was that track?
Yeah, once again, that was Moon River. We call that the climax mix, in parentheses. Moon River from Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U.
Bayonetta 2, a very, very strange Wii U exclusive. You know, it was, everyone thought it was wild when Nintendo bought the rights to Bayonetta from Sega and Platinum Games. But you know what? If you played Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U, hell, even if you play it on the Switch, there are some sweet games. And you've got, I'll say it like this: you haven't played Bayonetta until you play Bayonetta dressed as Princess Peach.
Oh man, quite the crossover that nobody expected.
It really,
and also
really
got a little bit of NBA Jam, since I've been seeing the Lakers on a lot at my local bars.
We love our Southern California local sports teams down here. Go Dodgers.
You gotta. Uh-huh. Otani the golden boy, petting a golden retriever.
There you go. But you know what, Drix? We were just talking about Amarzone and Explorer's Legacy. That was a brand new game. Came out yesterday on April 22nd. That was Tuesday. Drix, we have a couple of new games that are coming out a little bit later in the week.
Oh yeah, some hot ones at that.
First up, we have Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves.
Yes. Fighting games, here we go. This one was what, 12 years in the making?
Well, we're going to find out
20-ish?
from the Steam page, quote, 26 years on, a brand new entry in the Fatal Fury series is set to arrive on the scene. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves features a unique art style that stimulates the senses and an innovative rev system that supercharges the excitement. Here, at long last, a new legend is about to unfold. And Drix, these are some pretty flowery words for a game that's admittedly pretty damn good. But you know what? This one, it's coming at you on Thursday, April 24th. That's tomorrow.
Yes. Back at it again in Fatal Fury Land.
Yes,
with
SNK.
Mayor Hagar.
SNK 2D Forever. And this one is hitting you on PS5, PS4, and Xbox Series consoles. But you can play it right now if you pre-ordered the game, or you're playing it on PC.
Yeah, pretty sweet. So we're expecting this one at EVO too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This one's going to be at EVO, and this one's also going to be, I believe, at the Esports World Championships.
Yes, very nice. Already welcomed into the competitive community before launch.
Yeah, hey, you know what? It had like 2 betas, right?
Yeah, you got your little test runs.
Yeah,
you got to figure out some characters and combos and stuff.
Yeah, you get a feel for the engine, right?
Nice little Terry Bogard fist bump there.
Yeah, exactly. So that one is Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Pick it up right now if you're on PC. Everybody else, you'll see it tomorrow. Next up, we've got a game that, you know what? This game, Drix, seems to be like the new critical darling.
Yeah, right? I mean, maybe Baldur's Gate 3 really paved the way for a lot of new turn-based experiences.
And this one's riding the wave. Next up, we have Claire Obscure Expedition 33. From the Steam page,
Ooh.
quote, lead the members of Expedition 33 on their quest to destroy the Paintress so that she can never paint death again. Explore a world of wonders inspired by Belle Epoque France and battle unique enemies in this turn-based RPG with real-time mechanics.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Right? Not too many games set in France or any of those like middle to east, like, the European areas in that area. You know, the last one I played was Steel Rising. Yes.
Yeah. Man, we're really giving our French accents a workout today on the show.
Very much so. Unintended, and but you know, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 that releases tomorrow as well, Thursday, April 24th, and that is for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles. No PS4 for this one, Drix.
Yeah, we have just about hit the barrier. We can't be releasing on that old tech anymore because, man, I mean, look at this one.
Yeah, this one's pretty crazy looking.
It's pretty. That camera is moving around with all the action. You hardly believe it's turn-based until the menu pops up.
Right, this is giving me real Lost Odyssey vibes, you know?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty
and I mean,
cool.
the strikes look like Stellar Blade and stuff.
Yeah.
Saying Stellar Blade, stellar graphics.
Damn, Andy Serkis is in this game? Holy shit.
Huh.
But all right, that's Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Hey, that's hitting you tomorrow. But only if you have a PS5, an Xbox Series console, or a pretty decent PC.
Yeah, you're going to want some horsepower under the hood to run this one.
Or stream it on Game Pass.
Yes, the new option.
And we've got a new review for you coming up right now. Drix, are you ready?
Yeah. Let me grab maybe one more song I can talk through here.
You're good. You're good.
DJing and game reviewing at the same time. Yeah, now you can run that beautiful B-roll.
B-roll is up for you, my friend.
All right. So, is it Malachi? Is it Maliki?
Maliki?
I'm gonna go with Maliki. I don't know where to put the emphasis on this word, but it's her name. It's the name of one of the pretty important characters that the story kind of revolves around. Maliki, Poison of the Past. This is pretty. It's, for lack of better words, cutesy. It's pretty girl-forward cast with a really chibi kind of everybody looks like a plushie art style. Like every one of these characters you could just grab in a claw game somewhere, I imagine, which is pretty cool. I was digging the art style. It falls into almost that like cozy game category, except it's a turn-based RPG.
I was just about to say, like, this combat doesn't look too cozy.
Yeah, exactly. You're still, at the end of the day, you're fighting monsters with your party members and taking evil head on. So this game surprisingly has like a pretty gripping story, despite how cute it looks. I was actually pretty immersed in what's going to happen because you play as Sand, who has by chance found herself lost in a bit of a weebly-wobbly, timey-wimey conundrum. The fabric of space and time is ripping open from this poison from the past, and with the help of Maliki, you're here to mend things and sort of patch things up. You've got one of your first party members, Fang, is the real brains of the operation there. She's kind of like Luca and Chrono Trigger, like a lot of parallels. All hair, just all ponytail and really blunt bangs. So we could sit here and talk about their outfits and fashion all day, which I'm sure the ladies want to hear about. But yeah, the art style could be a miss for some. But I was into it, and I think it really fits. Same thing with the music. There's actually like a really good soundtrack that I found to be like really complimentary to like the atmosphere of the game.
Very nice.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fun science fiction, especially when Fang starts explaining about like anything that's going on with the time and how you're fixing it. But the poison is pretty much like a bunch of bramble vines, like an intelligent, natural, you know, almost eldritch alien creature that's sort of finding its way through time and just really making a mess of things. But there's this weird tie-in between the poison and Maliki that it's, instead of like, you know, two anime characters going, will they, won't they fall in love? It's like, well, are they good? Are they bad? Is the evil the same as the good? You know, are the humans the real monster hunters here? Like, and that was a good story hook for me anyway. It really landed. I was really hooked to the point where I wanted to keep playing. But not just these RPG mechanics, there's also a little bit of like Farmville farm simulator stuff going on. Every time you sort of go out on an expedition in a different time setting, eventually you kind of come back and you know, clear some brush, harvest some hay, grow some crops. You know, you take off again, you come back, and you pick up more plants and stuff. But I don't know how valuable a lot of that is. Like, it was fun and pretty addictive. It didn't feel tedious, but I'm pretty sure the crafting and stuff, like, you don't make a lot of gear. You mostly just make food. So you get like a food bonus during all your fights and like your expeditions out into the, you know, messed up time world, you know. But to be honest, I didn't eat much in the game. Like, I didn't use a lot of the bonuses, but man, did I want to come back and keep like growing crops and stuff. And like, it's pretty cool. You can unlock new recipes by like talking to people in time. But there's this cool dynamic of like, these areas have been frozen, but when you're outside of what's called the domain, and the domain is where you do all your like your Farmville stuff, and as you progress, you unlock new areas where you can farm more stuff and the like.
Oh, so your farm is it's like growing all the time, or is it more like just in segmented areas that you can kind of like flip back and forth between?
They're in like segmented areas that you kind of unlock. Like, every time you beat a boss, you get what's called a breath of life, and you feed it to the grand mother tree that you're trying to restore to like patch up time and all its rips and tears and things like that. Where this game kind of falls short is you know, I don't think it's a bad thing in a turn-based RPG when you can just like mash the A or the X button and just like attack. But they put the attack command next to like the cancel button, B, and it requires just that little bit more forethought when choosing different commands and stuff. But for the most part, all the like RPG stuff is really streamlined, and it's deep enough to be fun, but not to be like complicated. So it's really easy to pick up if, like, say this is your first turn-based RPG and you don't want to put a whole lot of thought into like your gear and equipment and stuff. Like, this is actually perfect for that. Like, if you don't want to dive into, you know, a whole, I don't know, Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger, like worrying about all your gears or your materia and stuff.
That old school grind.
Yeah, like, but at the same time, the combat gets pretty tough, and like there are situations where you don't really know what you're walking into, and like you can get wiped. But autosave is also kind of very forgiving. Anytime you walk past one of these portals that you use to like fast travel anywhere, it gives you a nice little autosave, and it like replenishes your health and your technique points. So it kind of walks this like pretty cool line of like, oh, okay, like I'm playing an actual RPG, like I'm being rewarded like it, but there's still some like tough little landmines you might walk into. And actually, there isn't like a shop really. Like I've played like 12, almost 14 hours into this game, and like I didn't buy or craft a single healing potion, which if you've been out of town for a little too long, you kind of need some. But from what I can tell, the only way you really, yeah, it's defense bonus or heal more after battles or increase your chance of escape. Like, yeah, it's kind of like they're buffs, but like, do you even have the right ingredients to make the kind of buffs that you want? Or like, I hope you farmed them, but which is actually pretty fun to make. But yeah, I can't craft a healing potion in this game yet, which might get in the way for somebody who isn't like experienced or like knows what to look for when doing these turn-based RPG things.
So it sounds like it has a good base of fundamentals, but it kind of it streamlines like the things that you would think are associated with these kinds of games, but it puts the emphasis on other things. But it really does like the strategy overall, as opposed to like the I guess item management, that old school style like menu mashing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not Suikoden or whatever. But another thing that sets this game apart is you eventually get 4 party members, and each one has a different sort of puzzle solving mechanic. So unlike, your traditional grindy RPGs, there's a bit more deep like puzzling going on in here, because Fang can move objects or people in time, and no, that's Sand. Sand is the main character that you play as. She moves people and objects in time. Fang can lift up heavy things with her sci-fi laser. The farmer Becky, she has a pitchfork, so she stabs things. and our little nature sprite friend, whose name I can barely pronounce as well, Fanmail. She controls, like, she's real good with plants, and she can bend plants to her bidding and stuff. So in combination, like each of these 4 sort of like puzzle solving abilities, it's actually pretty fun to like, Rubik's Cube away at how to get to the next area and stuff. That I thought was something really unique and pretty fun, and that I don't get out of most of my RPGs. Kind of like the I want to say it's like that latest Zelda game where you play as Zelda. And it's like, oh, yes. Cool, I can manipulate objects to clear paths and stuff. So that was actually pretty cool, and kind of gives the game its unique identity next to the chibi plushy art style.
Yeah, sounds pretty solid then. So
yeah, actually.
So what was the thing that like was there anything you really didn't like about this?
Mostly is that the farm simulation elements like borders on irrelevant or useless. I want to say if I put another week into it, it would really blossom, but I don't think there's a whole lot of mechanics that could show up that would really, put the food bonus back under the table or whatever, There's also a couple, like, sometimes the puzzle controls can be a little finicky, and again, like, just sort of where they placed the basic attack command, like, doesn't flow for like streamlined gameplay for me. So like the controls when puzzling and like a little bit of combat things, it can be a little finicky, and also kind of some weird hidden camera tricks. Like there's not a lot, but enough of like things being blocked by objects where it's like, oh, you could have moved the camera over here and I would have seen that enemy coming, or like, oh, there's a tall cathedral building and now I don't know where I am underneath it well. It's not as, it doesn't detract a lot, but it does enough where it's like, okay, this isn't a AAA game, like this is an indie darling.
Yeah, the indie.
So yeah, pretty much like if the art style and like cozy feel is a miss for you, then this, you might be able to pass this one up. But if you're into this, if you're looking for that like all-female cast of time-traveling adventurers, this is right up your alley. But for me, I didn't feel like I had a good time farming. Don't get me wrong. I was harvesting these crops, and I felt the need to continue with the adventure. Yeah, exactly. I felt the drive, the call to adventure, even if it was just to make my farm better and cooler and unlock new stuff to craft. But all in all, it kind of felt like it was kind of like separate entities, like the farming and the adventuring. But you're trying to get nature back together, so eventually the sort of credits you earn from farming, add up to healing nature a little sooner than you would. But all in all, this game was really close to a 4, but I gotta give it a 3 out of 5.
I hear ya, yeah. It's a bit of a same boat that I was in with Amazon. Like, they're just it's almost there, right? Like, it's so close.
Yeah.
It's just there's just a little bit of nitpicking going on here.
Yep. I mean, the art has to be a hit for you. You have to want to look at this. But there's definitely a good amount of RPG style and farm simulating meat and potatoes here for somebody to have a good time and really enjoy this one.
And what did you play it on?
I played this on PC for Steam.
All right, PC, Steam, and that is Maliki or Malachi or Maliki, whatever you want to call it. Poison of the Past.
Maliki, Poison of the Past.
Poison of the Past. Played it on PC, and Drix, that final score was?
3 out of 5.
A 3 out of 5. And that'll do it for our game reviews tonight. And right before we finish things up, we've got one last little bit of a news story for you. Kind of did a blitz of a show for you today because, we're just trying to get this back at you, man. Like, these were pretty meaty reviews. But
yeah.
Either way, great games. Like I said, again, me and Drix were kind of in like the same same boat, right? We had 2 games.
Yeah.
They were like almost there. If you give them to the right person, they're probably like 4 or 5 out of 5. But for everybody else, probably not.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to give it the same score that I gave Helldivers 2 and like Kingdom Come Deliverance.
See, yeah.
It's like when you put it next to those 4s, it's like not quite.
Yeah, that's a hard 4 to give,
Yeah.
But before we end the show with you all tonight, we have a small but big news story.
Oh yeah, that's why I have queued up the Onimusha 2 main theme playing in the background right now.
The Onimusha 2 main theme, and we are going to be playing the Neo Junk City B-roll to it, but that is because it is another step back into the past, because finally, Drake, while the Oblivion remaster is getting all the buzz, right? Shadow dropped yesterday. Everyone's playing.
Definitely. Yep. People are calling out of work.
Yeah. Calling out of work to play some Oblivion. It's just like 2006, Drix. It's 2006 all over again. Back then, we had friends staying home from school. Now, we got people calling out of work. It's like, fuck it, Oblivion's out.
Yeah, can't say no to that brand new game. Brand new old game.
But Drix, there's a set of remastered titles from Capcom that some would hold as just of high in regard, because from the PlayStation blog, Drix, the headline is, quote, Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny Remastered, interview with director Motohide Ishiro.
Yeah, no, and they're gearing up for a new entry in the Onimusha series. So this is definitely definitely one section of the hype train coming here.
Coming at you, you know what I mean? And before I jump into this news story proper, you've been with us so far. Give us a like. Drop us a subscribe. If you like what we do, we're here every Wednesday. Check us out.
Yeah, sub it up.
A sub above, if you will. But here we go, diving into this PlayStation blog interview. We have, they talk about the hell difficulty. They talk about keeping the ally system from the original game intact because they say, hey, Drix, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah. No, especially if it worked really well and made the game stand out as unique.
Yes. So, the hell difficulty, he says, definitely is not for everyone. It is like it's a one-hit kill kind of difficulty. So, definitely for the most hardcore
real
fan.
samurai mode for you Souls-like players out there.
Right, exactly. Then, but here's one of the more interesting parts of the interview because, Drix, they go into the new stuff coming with these remasters. It's not just a straight one-to-one. There's some new stuff.
Yeah, you gotta.
So from the interview, quote, can you tell us about the additions of minigames like The Man in Black, Team Oni, and Puzzle Phantom Realm?
Whoa.
And minigames galore.
A puzzle minigame, you say.
The answer, quote, Team Oni is a game where you go through stages, not just with Jubei, but with your allies. And you can switch between them. It's crucial to switch in allies and use items strategically. Puzzle Phantom Realm is a sequence of puzzles to solve. You'll encounter puzzle sections in the normal game, but this is just back-to-back puzzles, testing your solving skill. Lastly, there's The Man in Black. Jubei has a special outfit where he's dressed in black, head to toe. Instead of battling enemies, the goal is to collect films at various locations. These all have a different vibe from the main game and are fun in distinct ways. So, Drix, it sounds like they're going for way more full of a feature experience here because they also go on to elaborate the cinematic history of the game's production and how they are honoring its legacy with the new gallery mode so that you can see all the famous Japanese names that were involved with the game. Because, Drix, I don't know if anybody else knows, this game has a lot of star power behind it.
Yeah, really. A lot of Japanese kind of pop culture seeping its way into the video games, or is it more Edo Japan sort of historical figures?
No, it's here, let me pull up the exact name of the celebrity in question, but the likeness of the Japanese movie star, I guess, of the time this game came out at in 2007-ish.
Yeah, PS2 era.
2000, or no, this is like 2006, 2000, yeah, somewhere around like the early to mid 2000s, and the likeness of actor Yusaku Matsuda.
Ah, yes, Yusaku Matsuda. Who could forget?
Who could forget? And special effects director Kita Amamiya.
Yes, truly Amamiya'd by the results.
With longtime TV and game scriptwriter Nobuo Sugimura, who wrote the story for this one. So yeah, a lot of Japanese star power behind this game.
Wow. Wonder if he made any Japanese game shows.
Yeah, right. Takeshi's Castle, big fan.
Yeah, those are always fun.
The great ones. But you know what, Drix? And it's like you were saying earlier, this game, or this franchise, Onimusha, trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to play as Musashi Miyamoto in the next installment.
Absolutely. And these new remasters of Onimusha and Onimusha 2, Drix, they're hitting PlayStation on May 23rd.
Oh, that's right around the corner next month.
Next month. The deeper, Drix, the deeper we get into this year, the crazier these game releases are getting.
Yeah, I can only imagine what kind of toys we'll have to play with around the holiday season.
Yeah, right. I mean, because next month we've got these Onimusha games, and we have Doom: The Dark Ages. Like, holy shit, man! Like,
Demons beware.
yeah, we're coming hot off the heels of Fatal Fury. Got Demons of Southtown out here. Like,
Yes. No, they will be severed in twain by our blades.
yeah, absolutely. But with that, I do believe that will be the wrap up for us here at CFM Radio. Not a ton of breakage, but you know what, Trix? There's a lot to get through. These games, again, on the verge of greatness. We had to tell you, the listeners, why these games did not push over into the 4 out of 5. Because I'll tell you what, Drake, both of our games, you're gonna go online and you're gonna see some scores, and they're gonna be pretty high. But
Yeah.
we're here
So,
to tell you.
If you decide to pick them up, here's where the bruises might be on this apple or avocado.
Yeah, exactly. We're here to tell you that these aren't without some bruises.
Got to inspect that fruit and vegetable produce.
Joseph Ledesma in the chat. What's up, man? I hope you've been here for longer than now, because you're catching us on the way out.
Oh yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by, sir. We had a great night full of game reviews, amazing game reviews from some pretty good games if you're the right person for them.
Yeah. As always, we know you have options when choosing streams to watch, and we thank you for choosing Clusterfucked Media.
Thank you for choosing Clusterfucked Media. CFM Radio coming at you every Wednesday. We're going to see what's going on with the game streaming. Couldn't get things working this week. We'll see what comes out next week. Keep checking that Twitch, but you know that we'll always be here for you. Wednesdays. Every Wednesday. 7:30 Pacific time.
Yep. My dudes, we give you the sweet video game music and news.
Video game
And,
music and news.
Plenty of reviews on the horizon, too. So
Yep. Next
we'll
week
keep
we
you
have
in touch.
we got a review for MotoGP 25. Don't miss it.
Oh, yeah. This motorcycle is going to be going fast.
We got a lot of moto racing bonanza. We're again hot off the heels of our Monster Supercross 25 review. So we here at Clusterfucked Media, we're not afraid to brave these sports simulation games.
Oh, yeah. Fearless with our controllers and mouse and keyboards with what we play.
Thank you as always, and we will see you next Wednesday. Have a good night.